There is an accessory that most men over 60 either avoid entirely, carry incorrectly, or have replaced with something that quietly works against everything else they have achieved with their wardrobe. It is not a watch, it is not a belt, it is a bag. And specifically, it is the one bag that a well-dressed man over 60 should own and reach for consistently, the leather tote or messenger bag. And the specific reasons most men are not carrying it are worth understanding directly. Most men over 60 who carry anything at all are carrying a backpack. The backpack has become the default everyday bag for men of all ages, for understandable reasons. It is practical. It holds a great deal. It distributes weight evenly across both shoulders. It requires no deliberate style decision, and it is so ubiquitous that most men who carry one have stopped thinking about whether it is the right choice for the rest of their appearance. The problem with a backpack on a man over 60 who is otherwise dressed with care and intention is one of register. A backpack belongs to the casual, functional, frequently outdoors or transit-oriented register of daily life. It communicates practicality. It does not communicate considered, unhurried, quietly authoritative, which is the register that a well-dressed man over 60 is trying to establish with everything else he has carefully chosen. When the backpack goes on, it introduces a visual and conceptual note that conflicts with the blazer, the collar, the shoe, and the intention that went into every other decision. The outfit says one thing, the backpack says something else. There is also a specific visual effect the backpack creates on the upper body of a man over 60 that most men have not considered. A backpack on the back rounds the shoulders forward, not dramatically, but visibly, because the weight of the bag pulls the shoulders backward and inward as compensation. For a man who is already working to maintain upright posture and open shoulder position, the backpack actively works against that effort every time he wears it. The very thing he has been doing deliberately to look younger and more authoritative is being physically undermined by the bag behind him. This channel is about classic menswear, timeless style, and the practical decisions that help men over 60 look sharp in every detail. The bag is one of those details, and it is the one that most style advice for older men ignores almost entirely. Today we are addressing it completely. The bag that works for men over 60 is the leather tote, or the leather messenger bag. These two styles occupy the same general position in the register of everyday accessories: functional, practical, capable of holding everything a man needs for a day, but they communicate something entirely different from the backpack. They communicate that the man carrying them has made a deliberate choice that practicality and elegance are not mutually exclusive, and that the bag is part of the outfit rather than an afterthought attached to it. The leather tote is the more relaxed of the two. A simple structured tote in quality tan or dark brown leather, 2 handles, a clean body, minimal detailing, is one of the most versatile everyday bags available. It works with a blazer and trousers for a smart casual occasion. It works with dark jeans and a polo for a relaxed weekend. And it works in warm weather, carried loosely from one hand in a way that immediately signals ease and intention simultaneously. The quality of the leather is visible from a distance, and quality leather communicates more than any other single material in a man's accessories. The specific detail that makes a leather tote work or fail is its handle length and drop. A very short handle that sits at the wrist requires the bag to be held with the hand, tiring and visually clunky. A very long handle that drops to the thigh creates a dragging impression. The correct handle length allows the bag to be carried from the forearm, the handle looped over the forearm just above the wrist, or from one hand at the natural hang position. At either carry point, the bag should sit at roughly hip height when the arm is relaxed. This is the position that reads as most natural and most deliberate. The canvas tote, even one from a premium brand, is not the same thing as the leather tote. Canvas communicates casual shopping or environmental awareness, which are perfectly legitimate purposes, but which are not the register of a considered everyday accessory for a well-dressed man over 60. The material matters, only leather, or a high-quality leather alternative has the surface richness, the structure and the coordinatability with other leather goods that makes a tote function as a genuine style element rather than a functional container. The leather messenger bag is the more structured option. With an adjustable shoulder strap, a front flap, and a clean flat silhouette, the leather messenger bag crosses the body in a way that adds a horizontal accent to the outfit without creating the visual interruption of a backpack's bulk. It works best crossed over one shoulder, the strap going from left shoulder to right hip, or right shoulder to left hip, where the diagonal line creates visual interest without distracting from the face and upper body. The leather messenger bag works particularly well for men over 60 who need to move between different types of occasion in a single day. A professional meeting followed by a relaxed lunch, or a cultural visit followed by an evening dinner. Because it is flat against the body, it does not create the bulk of a backpack when the jacket is worn. Because it has structure, it does not collapse when the contents are light. And because it is crossed over the body rather than carried in the hand, it leaves both hands free, a practical consideration that most men over 60 who carry the tote eventually arrive at as their primary reason for switching to the messenger for certain occasions. Both the tote and the messenger bag work in the same color system as everything else in the wardrobe. Tan leather coordinates with tan suede loafers and tan leather belts, the warm leather system completing itself at the bag. Dark brown leather coordinates with dark brown derby shoes and dark brown Chelsea boots. This is not accidental coordination. It is the same leather palette principle that runs through the entire wardrobe, now extended to the bag. When the bag is in the same leather family as the shoe, the belt and the watch strap, the overall impression of the outfit has a coherence and completeness that registers immediately, even when nobody can name exactly what is creating that impression. If you are finding this useful, the kind of specific, practical accessory guidance that most style advice leaves out entirely, go ahead and subscribe. This channel is built around exactly this level of detail, and there is a great deal more coming on every element of how men over 60 can sharpen the complete picture of how they present themselves. The most important consideration when choosing the specific bag is size. A leather bag that is too large reads as a piece of luggage rather than an accessory. The visual relationship between the bag and the man carrying it becomes imbalanced, the bag dominating the lower half of the outfit. A bag that is too small reads as a fashion accessory rather than a functional piece, and on a man over 60 who wants to look considered rather than fashion conscious, this is the wrong impression. The correct size is proportional to the man's frame. For most men over 60 of average to medium build, a tote or messenger bag with a body depth of approximately 30 to 35 centimeters is the right scale, large enough to hold the things a day requires, small enough to remain an accessory rather than becoming the dominant visual element of the outfit. For men of larger frame or fuller build, the scale can adjust slightly upward. A bag that looks proportionally small on a tall or broader man reads as a fashion choice rather than a functional one. And for men of leaner or slimmer build, slightly smaller scales work better. The bag should never read as overwhelming the frame of the man carrying it. The second consideration is structure. A bag that collapses when it is not full reads as cheap, regardless of the material. A bag that holds its shape, whether full or empty, reads as quality. For leather totes, this means looking for a bag with at least a partial internal structure that maintains the shape of the bag's body at the base. For messenger bags, the structure is usually provided by the front flap and the internal organization. In either case, a bag that maintains its form is a bag that looks like an intentional part of the outfit rather than something that was simply grabbed on the way out. The third consideration, and the one most men forget entirely, is how the bag is held. A leather tote hung from the forearm or held from one handle at the side reads as elegant and deliberate. The same bag slung over the shoulder incorrectly or stuffed to the point of deformation reads as careless, regardless of the quality of the leather. The messenger bag crossed over the body reads as considered. The same bag carried on one shoulder like a sack reads as an afterthought. How a man carries his bag is as much a part of the overall impression as which bag he chose. Now I want to hear from you directly. What are you currently carrying as your everyday bag, and which of the three problems does it have? Too casual, the backpack, the wrong size, or not maintained and held correctly? Tell me in the comments. I read every one, and I want to know where most men over 60 are starting from with this. The practical summary. A leather tote in tan or dark brown, structured proportional to the frame, quality leather that maintains its shape for relaxed everyday use and warm weather. A leather messenger bag in the same color family, crossed over the body, flat against the side, for more structured occasions and when the hands need to be free. Both in the same leather tone as the shoe and the belt. Both carried correctly, the tote from the forearm or hand at hip height, the messenger crossed over the body rather than slung from one shoulder. Both chosen for their relationship to the outfit, not as separate functional purchases made without regard for what else is being worn. The bag is not a major wardrobe investment. A quality leather tote or messenger bag, purchased once and maintained correctly, will serve a man over 60 for a decade or more. And the return on that investment, in terms of how complete the overall impression becomes and how consistently the full picture of careful dressing is maintained from the collar to the shoe to the bag, is one of the highest available from any single accessory decision. A man over 60 who carries a quality leather bag that is in the right register, the right size, and the right leather tone for his outfit is a man whose attention to detail is complete. The watch, the belt, the shoe, and now the bag, all in the same warm leather family, all at the same level of consideration. The impression this creates is not flashy, it is not conspicuous, but it is immediately and unmistakably the impression of a man who has thought about every element of how he presents himself. So here is the challenge. If you are currently carrying a backpack as your everyday bag or no bag at all this week, identify the leather tote or messenger bag that fits the principles we have discussed. Not the most expensive option, the most correctly considered one, the right leather tone, the right size, the right structure, and carry it for 1 week in place of whatever you have been carrying. Notice what changes. If you found this video useful, share it and subscribe. This is exactly the kind of specific practical guidance that most men never get about the complete picture of how they present themselves. In the next video, we are going into the jeans mistakes that quietly age men over 60 and make every outfit look dated, and the specific fixes for every one of them. You will not want to miss that one.